Everything seemed perfect for Kyle Larson until it wasn't. After dominating one of NASCAR's most grueling tracks, Larson dropped a comment that stunned the sport. It wasn't just a flex, it was a shot fired. Denny Hamlin heard it. What was his response? Let's just say, this rivalry just got personal. At Bristol Motor Speedway, Kyle Larson was untouchable. He led a staggering 277 of 300 laps in the Xfinity Series, and an even more jaw-dropping 411 of 500 laps in the Cup Series. That's not just winning, that's total domination. He came just one position short of sweeping all three National Series, finishing second in the truck race. Fans and analysts were stunned by his performance, hailing it as one of the most impressive weekends in recent NASCAR history. But as dominant as he was on the track, the bigger story came after the race. Off the track. While most drivers would take a weekend like that and enjoy the praise, Larson chose a different route. On Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour podcast, Larson made jaws drop when he expressed his motivation to embarrass his competition in the Xfinity Series. Yep, embarrassing. According to Larson, it's his way of helping the sport by showing younger drivers what the real standard is so they can elevate their game. He even admitted the comment might come off cocky, but he didn't back down. "I'm not gonna lie," he said. "I want to go down there and just dominate." And with that one line, the spotlight shifted from his wins to his words. But Larson didn't stop there. He took it one step further, saying he wants to embarrass NASCAR too. Why? He believes NASCAR is making a mistake by limiting Cup drivers from racing in the Xfinity Series. In his eyes, keeping veterans out of the feeder series is hurting young talent, not helping it. He says when Cup drivers like himself race in lower divisions, it forces the up-and-comers to rise to the challenge. It's not about ego, he claimed. It's about raising the bar. But not everyone bought into that reasoning. For some, it sounded less like motivation and more like a declaration of war against NASCAR's policies. The garage was instantly split. Some drivers and fans saw Larson's comments as tough love, a challenge to push the next generation harder. Others? Not so kind. Accusations of arrogance began flooding in. Many felt Larson was being disrespectful to younger drivers trying to build their careers. Some even questioned if he was using his platform to bully rather than build. What was meant to be a motivational statement turned into a full-blown controversy. And then, Denny Hamlin entered the chat. And what he said would shake the NASCAR world even more than Larson's embarrassing remark. Denny Hamlin was initially impressed by Larson's run. Like most fans, he was cheering for the rare triple sweep at Bristol. But once he heard what Larson said on the podcast, that respect turned to something else. Hamlin didn't hold back. His response? "Piss on your sweep." Delivered with a laugh, but make no mistake, the message was loud and clear. Hamlin openly said he was glad Chandler Smith beat Larson in the truck race. Not out of malice, but because, in his words, Larson needed humbling. It was a gut punch of a statement, especially coming from a fellow Cup Series titan. And it didn't end there. Hamlin had more to say, and this time, it wasn't just about Larson. Hamlin didn't just critique Larson's attitude, he turned his attention to NASCAR's product itself. According to him, Bristol's racing wasn't great, it was broken. He argued that Larson's win was more about car design and race format than pure dominance. "The car just isn't built for passing," Hamlin said. "We had over 200 green flag laps where nothing happened." Fans noticed it too. Despite Larson's lead, the race felt stale, uneventful, and hard to watch. Hamlin blamed a lack of testing, poor tire wear, and NASCAR's push for parity as reasons the racing has become so lifeless. So now, the controversy isn't just about words or egos. It's about a deeper issue in NASCAR and how one driver's domination might be exposing it all. It wasn't just drivers speaking out. Fans and analysts were disappointed too. Jeff Gluck didn't mince words, calling the Bristol Cup race horrible, and many fans agreed. With barely any tire wear and limited chances to pass, the race felt more like a slow cruise than a high-stakes battle. Social media lit up with complaints. Some fans even said they left the race early, while others just stared at their phones mid-race. Even with Larson leading, excitement was nowhere to be found. The message was clear: NASCAR's entertainment value is dropping and fast. Bubba Wallace had a promising start at Bristol, until the next-gen car's flaws caught up with him. He got stuck in traffic, unable to make moves, not because of bad driving, but because of car limitations. He finished 19th, visibly frustrated. On X, formerly Twitter, he wrote that the experience was rough and that he plateaued early. But in true Bubba fashion, he kept it real, thanking his wife and reminding himself to stay grateful for the bigger picture in life. Still, his words echoed a trend. NASCAR's problems are deeper than just one driver. The cars just aren't working as they should. Let's rewind to NASCAR's decision to limit Cup drivers from racing in the Xfinity and Truck Series. The goal was noble: to give younger drivers a better chance to shine. But now, that move is under fire. Larson believes NASCAR might have gone too far. He argues that real growth comes from competition, not coddling. When Cup stars race, it sets a true benchmark, Larson said. If you want to make it in the big leagues, you need to race against the best. His critics call it selfish. But to Larson, it's just the raw truth. Iron sharpens iron, and without Cup drivers in the mix, younger talents aren't getting the full test. That brings us to the big question: is Kyle Larson lifting the sport or overshadowing it? Sure, his presence might motivate younger drivers, but it's also putting a spotlight on how wide the gap is. For every Sammy Smith or Ty Gibbs trying to make a name, Kyle Larson is coming down from the Cup Series and crushing the field. To some, it looks less like mentorship and more like bullying. Even if his goal is to help the sport, his dominance sucks the oxygen out of the room for developing stars. So while he might mean well, Larson could also be killing the narrative of competition in the feeder series. NASCAR is now at a crucial tipping point. The complaints are piling up from top-tier drivers, frustrated fans, and confused analysts. So what's the next move? Do they listen to Hamlin and Larson and fix the next-gen car to make racing more exciting? Do they allow more Cup drivers to race in Xfinity and trucks again, giving young drivers real-time lessons? Or do they stick with the current system, shielding rookies but at the cost of true competition? Whatever they choose, one thing's clear: the product needs a serious refresh, and the louder the drivers get, the harder it becomes for NASCAR to ignore the noise. Kyle Larson isn't just winning, he's making noise. He's brash, unapologetic, and doesn't care about playing it safe. He's using the lower series not just to rack up trophies, but to send a message. NASCAR has problems, and he's exposing them, one dominant win at a time. Whether you call it ego or awareness, it's working. Because now, even those who used to cheer him are wondering, is Larson racing to help the sport or to prove a point? Either way, his legacy is shifting. He's no longer just a driver. He's a disruptor, and the entire garage is starting to feel it. Kyle Larson didn't just leave Bristol with a trophy, he left with the entire NASCAR world debating his words. Was it ego or honesty? Motivation or mockery? One thing's clear: the sport is changing fast. And with drivers like Hamlin firing back, this battle off the track is just heating up.